Have you ever wondered why Israel and Iran, two nations thousands of miles apart, are embroiled in a conflict that has lasted for decades? The genesis of this complex conflict dates back to the mid-20th century, precisely in the year 1948. This was the year when the State of Israel was established. It was a year that marked a new era in the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Iran, under the rule of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was one of the first Muslim-majority countries to recognize Israel. They maintained cordial relations, cooperating in various sectors, from oil to agriculture. However, this harmony was not destined to last. Fast forward to the year 1979, a year of seismic change for Iran. This was the year of the Iranian Revolution, a socio-political movement that drastically altered Iran's political landscape. Out went the Shah, and in came a theocratic regime led by Ayatollah Khomeini. This revolution marked a radical shift in Iran's domestic and foreign policies, particularly its stance towards Israel. Ayatollah Khomeini's regime viewed Israel as an illegitimate state and a threat to Islam. This, coupled with Iran's new alliance with certain Arab nations hostile to Israel, led to a complete severance of diplomatic ties between Iran and Israel. The once cordial relationship was replaced with hostility, suspicion, and animosity. The change was not just diplomatic. This hostility seeped into various aspects of relations between the two nations. Allegations and counter-allegations of espionage, proxy wars, and cyber attacks became the new norm. The two countries, once allies, were now entrenched in a conflict that was as much ideological as it was political. Thus, the seeds of discord were sown, setting the stage for a conflict that would last for decades. This conflict, marked by its complexity and longevity, continues to shape the geopolitics of the Middle East and beyond. And as we delve deeper into the chronology of this conflict in the next scene, we'll see how it has evolved over time, affecting not just Israel and Iran, but the entire world. Now that we've set the stage, let's delve into the actual events of the war. Our journey begins in the 1980s, an era of intense geopolitical tension and under-the-table operations. Here, Israel and Iran, two nations thousands of miles apart, found themselves embroiled in a covert war, a war not of tanks and soldiers, but of spies and subterfuge. In the shadows of this decade, a series of clandestine operations unfolded. Espionage became the primary weapon, with both nations striving to outmaneuver each other in a silent, deadly dance. Intelligence agencies played a significant role, their agents operating like chess pieces on a global board. This was a time of secrets and whispers, of hidden alliances and backdoor dealings. As we move into the 2000s, the nature of the conflict began to shift. No longer confined to the shadows, the war between Israel and Iran began to manifest in proxy battles. These were wars fought not on home soil, but in the territories of third-party nations. The battlegrounds were diverse, ranging from the deserts of Iraq to the mountains of Lebanon, from the streets of Gaza to the palaces of Syria. Yet it's important to remember that this was not a two-player game. Other nations, too, had their roles in this intricate geopolitical drama. The United States, for instance, had long been a staunch ally of Israel, providing both military and diplomatic support. On the other side of the coin, we see Russia and Iran forming a strategic partnership, a bond cemented by shared interests and mutual opponents. Saudi Arabia also entered the fray, backing various factions in the proxy wars in a bid to curb Iran's influence in the Middle East. These nations, though not directly involved, significantly influenced the course of the Israel-Iran conflict, adding another layer of complexity to an already convoluted situation. The recent years have seen the conflict take yet another turn, with technology becoming a new battleground. Sophisticated cyber attacks and assassinations have become more common, signaling a shift towards a new kind of warfare. This digital domain has allowed for attacks that are not only anonymous, but also global in scope, reflecting the evolving nature of modern warfare. Despite the decades of tension and conflict, it's crucial to note that there has never been an official declaration of war between Israel and Iran. Instead, their conflict has been a game of shadows, played out through proxies, intelligence operations, and now cyber warfare. It's a war without a clear beginning or end, a war defined not by battle lines but by hidden agendas and shifting allegiances. In the absence of an official declaration of war, the Israel-Iran conflict has been a game of shadows, marked by espionage and proxy battles. Fast forward to today, where does the conflict stand? The Israel-Iran conflict remains a high-stakes geopolitical chess game. The battleground now extends to the digital realm with ongoing cyber warfare. It's a new age war, where keyboards are the weapons and code is the ammunition. A pivotal moment occurred not too long ago, with the assassination of Iran's top nuclear scientist. This event sent shockwaves around the world, further intensifying the already strained relations. The impact of this incident cannot be overstated. It marked a significant escalation in this decades-long conflict. The tensions in the Middle East continue to rise. Every action, every decision, every statement is a spark that could potentially ignite the powder keg that is this region. The global community watches with bated breath, hoping for a peaceful resolution. However, the conflict, far from being resolved, continues to escalate, threatening stability in the Middle East. So what have we learned about the Israel-Iran conflict? This intricate and volatile issue is rooted deep in historical, political, and religious divides, extending far beyond the borders of the two nations involved. We've traced the origins of the conflict back to the ideological differences and territorial disputes that sparked the initial tensions. The progression of this conflict was far from linear, with periods of relative calm interrupted by outbreaks of violence and aggression. The involvement of other countries, either through direct participation or by proxy, added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted situation. Fast forward to today, and the conflict remains as unresolved as ever. The stakes are high, with the potential for escalation always looming. Despite the complexities and the seemingly endless nature of the conflict, understanding its genesis and evolution is the first step towards finding a solution. But for now, the Israel-Iran conflict remains one of the world's most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints.